Hello, welcome to Thunder. My name is Whitney Lee. I'm a senior technical advocate at Datadog, and I'm here with Lin. Lin, will you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, Whitney. So good to see you. You're always perfect on stage. I don't know how you do that. My name is Lin. I'm the head of open source at Solo.io. I'm also doing a bunch of roles in the community. I'm just wrapping up my CNCF TOC term. I'm a CNCF ambassador like Whitney, and I am a maintainer on Kagent, Istio, and K-Gateway. I'm also the new KubeCon co-chair for Amsterdam and also Salt Lake City and Barcelona. I actually recently started contributing to the Agent AI Foundation, so I'm excited to be a contributor there too.
And Lin, I know you have next to you the book you wrote somehow with all your spare time.
I think this is the fourth or fifth book I wrote. So
Lin and I, we actually have spent the last 2 hours together already. We had a long conversation during an enlightening episode where we made this whole board about K-Agent, which is also the subject of the book you held up. And I understand you're a co-creator of K-Agent. What was the world like before K-Agent that caused you to co-create it?
it was 2024 and everybody was start to get running, coding agent on their laptop. People were using ChatGPT, which I still use a lot. We had one of our biggest hurricane in Southeast region area, which is where I live. And we had to jump on Chris's car, which happens rarely during weekend, and because a lot of people's home were impacted, and we had to help our insurance provider who uses API gateway technologies to funnel all the traffic to submit insurance claims. And the traffic was down because everybody was busy submitting insurance claims. That triggers us to say, nobody likes to work over the weekend. Why can't we transfer some of the knowledge we have on specific engineers on our team, particularly around networking, troubleshooting, debugging, into an AI agent to be like the first defense to help us troubleshooting before we actually troubleshooting ourselves, or maybe just to help us to be more efficient in the company. So that was at an interesting time that, the knowledge is in some of the expertise at our company, but we want to spread out the knowledge to more people within our organization. And that's when we started creating K-Agent, because we expect people are not going to focus on one problem.
Yeah, so there's a hurricane and a crisis, and everyone at your company has to work on the weekend, and you're like, no, thank you. We need to figure out how to get AI to do this. And especially back in 2024, that isn't long ago yet. In AI terms, it was forever ago, too.
It is very long for AI terms.
So you helped create K-Agent. What is K-Agent exactly?
K-Agent is an open source programming framework for developer and platform engineer to help them easily run and build AI agents in Kubernetes. It has a declarative framework, which I really love. When I think about K-Agent, I'm thinking about it's very simple, intuitive to use, and it has the declarative YAML experience, which we all love of Kubernetes, and we bring that to AI agents, so people who are familiar with cloud native can easily run AI agents or build their AI agents running on Kubernetes.
So one of my first questions to you in the episode was, is this a technology that helps you build an agent that helps you run your Kubernetes, or is it technology that helps you build agents to do some sort of business logic that's completely unique to your company and it has nothing to do with the system it's running on?
Yeah, I think it can be both. It doesn't necessarily help you bootstrap your Kubernetes cluster, but it can help you bootstrap your other cloud native projects, because we assume your Kubernetes cluster is already up running, so it can help you bootstrap your Istio, Cilium, Argo Rollouts, Prometheus, for example. You can also have the agent to do whatever you want. And that's why it's a programming framework. Through the Kagent agent declarative YAML, you specify what's make of the agent, right? Whether the agent, the instruction, the prompt of the agent, the description of the agent, and what specific MCP server tools you want your agent to use, which can be something specific to your business logic, right? So those MCP server could be specific to your business logic, and then you configure your agent to use those tools given specific instructions. We also have agent scale support that was added a couple of months ago, that you can augment your agent with specific contacts, such as like branding information, specific recipe for your agents that's unique to your organization.
So if you're building an agent, regardless of where it's running, you have a lot of concerns. So you're concerned with the system prompt of your agent. You're concerned with the description, which is how other agents are going to be able to find and use it. You're concerned about the underlying model, what tools you want to give it, whether you're giving it access to third-party things or building your own tools. There's a lot that you're concerned about. And so what Kagent does is it gives you an agent custom resource definition to be able to define these things in an agent config. And then a lot of the work of making it happen, like you just magically say what you want. And then a lot of the work of making it happen and connecting to things is magically happening under the hood with a Kagent controller. Is that correct?
That
cool.
Is right. That's the role of the controller, is to transform the listening and transform the simple customer resource, such as agent resource, and into the actual pods and services that do the work. Whenever you talk to the agent, be able to start the agent conversation loop for you, do the work, interact with the large language model, invoke the MCP server tool. So Kagent does that work for you through the controller.
And so the controller is watching not only this Agent CRD, which you talked us through, but also the MCP server CRD, remote MCP server CRD, model config. So there are a lot of other agent-related concerns that you can define declaratively and that will get created for you at the Kubernetes level, pods, services, service accounts, etc.
If it's like a configuration, it would just generate a config for you without spinning up the pod. Yes.
So then Kagent also deploys these agents into your cluster. It can. It's very customizable. You don't have to do that. So when would you also want Kagent to make an Istio agent for you, or a Cilium agent, or Argo Rollouts?
That's a good question. Using Istio as an example, if you're using a service mesh, you might want Istio agent there for you to help you troubleshooting, to help you install Istio, to help you upgrade Istio, to help you troubleshooting specific issues related to Istio, to help you maybe enroll your pods into Istio, just some basic Istio operation. It can help you out.
And it can help you do that using natural language, right?
Yeah, that's the best part. You can interact with your agent either through natural language, either through the UI or CLI, or configure it with your cursor or Visual Studio Code through expose Kagent as MCP. Yeah.
Why do you want to run an agent on Kubernetes at all?
That's a great question. I really think if you want to move your agents beyond coding agents on your laptop, I do think Kubernetes is the perfect runtime to run your agents in production. If you want to have your agents reused by you or multiple people, Kubernetes is the right platform for that. If you want to have long-running agents, Kubernetes is also the right platform for that. So, we've spent 10 years building our Kubernetes in the cloud-native ecosystem, and agent is just a specific type of constructor in Kubernetes. Right now, it's a pod. There are extra people talking about pod, maybe not the right construct, but at least I think Kubernetes solved the compute, network, and storage problem. The same problem is also going with agent as well. So we still need to solve.
So when you deploy your agent to Kubernetes, you also have any Kubernetes native benefits like high availability, reliability, like integration with all of the CNCF tooling that's out there. It's become quite a mature ecosystem. You talked about like maybe pod's not the right construct. I think that brings us into security. What security factors are at play with K-Agent?
Yeah, that's a good question. So by default, the agents are declarative, but you can also add in a sandbox environment to your agent by configuring your K-Agent agent to use Agent Sandbox, which is a Kubernetes SIG project that I think the project wasn't started for long, but it defines the sandbox customer resource and it has a sandbox controller. So you could program your agent to run it within the sandbox. Also, we added support of Nemo Cloud into K-Agent. So you could potentially run your sandbox open cloud, which is Nemo Cloud with K-Agent. So this would enable scenarios like a long-running agents that's always running, and you configure with your Telegram or different communication channel.
And we also talked about authorization related to security.
Yeah, Auth is a really, really complex problem. I'm actually participating in the identity and trust working group in the Agentic AI Foundation. So when we talk about Auth, we have to think about the policies related to Auth. We have to think about the identity related to the agent. Is your agent having cryptographic identity? Because you don't want your agent to be an identity based on the network IP that could potentially change, get reused. You want the identity is to be as strong as a passport, right? Your US passport. Or whatever. And so that when you apply policies on top of your identity, you can feel the policy is applying correctly. We also kind of discuss about the policies applied to agent is really beyond the traditional networking policy, beyond the traditional HTTP policy, but it's also applying to the context layer, whether it can specify which tools your agent gets access to, whether you need additional approval to execute a particular tool, which K-Agent has native access support for invoking certain tools, whether it requires user to approve, or you can bring in a gateway like an agent gateway to config access or guardrail for your agents.
And so this context layer is a new one that we're discussing now that AI is on the scene. So you mentioned that would be human in the loop, which is something you can specify as part of your K-Agent, or an AI gateway perhaps, or even restricting or using identity to restrict what tools it has access to, or however you might do it. Maybe it's through your agent framework.
Yeah, layer 8, I think that's what people are calling it now. Yeah, that's the new security layer we have to worry about. It's when we don't trust our agent enough, especially a lot of code of the agent are produced by coding agent these days. Inside of the Agentic AI Foundation, there are multiple working groups. Two of the working group I'm participating, one is the identity and trust. The other working group I'm participating is accuracy and reliability. So, yeah.
Well, all that to say, I really like that throughout this, you're using open standards whenever possible. MCP is an open standard. Agent skills is an open standard. Your agent sandbox is an open standard. I appreciate that.
In the world of AI and agents, endorsing the standards is just super important. People want to make sure whatever they are building, it can be easily ported to other framework who also support these standards.
In order to bring this all home, we've talked about quite a lot in terms of the different CRDs it brings in, like what you can configure, underlying agents that are helping support this. What I would love to hear to help glue it together are a couple of use cases of how people are using K-Agent.
Yeah, so one of the common use cases we heard is they create agents that's cloud native related to help their company to share specific Kubernetes or platform knowledge about specific projects in running on top of Kubernetes, so that to help them onboarding new people, to help them operate and troubleshooting. So a very common scenario.
Yeah, I understand why an agent like that would be very valuable. Can you help me understand what K-Agent adds to building an agent like that? Why it might make it easier?
You can leverage Kagent programming framework to easily run your agents in Kubernetes, right? Because without Kagent, you would have to understand the agent framework, the library, and the development kit. You have to write code, whether you use Ask AI to write the code, but somebody has to write the code and review the code, and you most likely had to kind of build the images. You have to store the image somewhere. You have to, build your Kubernetes constructor to kind of deploy and get it running in Kubernetes. With Kagent, that's a lot simplified because we have this Kubernetes native agent customer resource along with the surrounding resources, MCP server and model config. You could potentially build an agent within a minute and just say, this is the instruction of the agent, and I want my agent to use this tool, and boom, deploy it for me. And that agent can be reused by anybody who have access to that Kubernetes cluster, which is super powerful, right? It's like not like you deploy cursor on your laptop, only you can use it. Right? That's the power of getting it running in Kubernetes and also getting it running anywhere that can run Kubernetes.
That's amazing. So then what's another example?
The other example, we actually use it a lot solo, is also a Slack agent that help us to kind of identify, connect to the ticket system, connect to the chat history. And we use multiple ticket systems, so kind of will config the agents to have access to those and help us to do data mining, to connect the dots, to generate summary, to be more efficient at troubleshooting and debugging and connecting who's the right person and right solution, or maybe the problem is already fixed. So that was it really helped us to improve our efficiency.
That's really cool. And what did K-Agent add to the experience of making that?
The K-Agent adds to, make it simple to run the agent, make it simple for us to build the agent, and also endorse the open standards, right? Once you have the MCP for Slack, you can easily reuse it in K-Agent, and also the ticket system have MCP. I think it's also part of like endorsing the standards and make it easy for people to use and deploy and use the agents in Kubernetes.
So if you want someone who's watching today to remember one thing about K-Agent, what is that thing?
It's a programming framework to help you build agents in Kubernetes a lot easier. That will be one thing.
Nice. It's much easier. The simplicity is where it's at. And if you're someone who's already used to working with YAML and used to working with Kubernetes resources, this agent building framework is for you.
We just reached 12.5 million downloads of K-Agent, and we started K-Agent in March last year. So
wow.
And impressive. We have hundreds of contributors in the K-Agent projects.
So if you want to be one of those contributors or maybe one of those downloaders, how do you get involved?
Check out kagent.dev. We have our get started instruction there. We have our community meeting you can join. We have our Discord. We would love you using or contribute to Kagent and be part of our journey.
Thank you so much, Lin, for sharing your time and your expertise with us. And thanks everyone for watching. Goodbye.